Men, women don't just randomly behave badly. Often, they're testing to see what you'll accept. Before pushing boundaries seriously, many women deploy subtle psychological tests, measuring your tolerance for disrespect, your enforcement of boundaries, and how much they can get away with before you push back. These aren't conscious experiments most of the time. They're learned behaviors, testing whether you're a strong man who maintains standards or pushable man who accepts whatever treatment comes. Today, we're exposing 7 psychological tests women use to measure your tolerance levels. And once you recognize these tests, you'll never fail them again. Before we dive in, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and drop a comment if you've ever felt tested in a relationship and wondered what was really happening. Test 1. Manufactured jealousy. She mentions other men showing interest, maintains visible contact with exes, or creates situations designed to make you jealous. She's testing whether you'll become insecure and chase harder, or whether you'll maintain confidence and set boundaries. Insecure reaction shows weakness. Confident boundary setting shows strength. Notice how she responds to your reaction. If you show jealousy, does she seem pleased by your discomfort? That pleasure reveals the jealousy was manufactured to test you. If you remain unbothered and set clear boundaries about inappropriate behavior, does she respect it or escalate? Her response tells you whether the test was about gauging your security or deliberately creating drama. The correct response is acknowledging concerning behavior without becoming emotionally reactive. State your boundaries clearly. Certain behaviors aren't acceptable in your relationships. Then enforce them through action if necessary. Don't try to compete with other men or work harder to keep her attention. That proves the test worked, and you're controllable through jealousy. Test 2. Disrespect in public. She makes dismissive comments about you in front of friends, contradicts you publicly, or tells embarrassing stories to others. She's testing whether you'll tolerate public disrespect or whether you'll address it. Accepting it signals you're weak. Addressing it firmly but calmly demonstrates you have self-respect that must be honored. Pay attention to whether she apologizes when you address it privately or whether she dismisses your concern and suggests you're too sensitive. Genuine respect means adjusting behavior when boundaries are communicated. Continued disrespect after you've addressed it means she's decided you'll tolerate it. The correct response is addressing it immediately and clearly. Pull her aside or speak privately afterward, explain that public disrespect isn't acceptable, and make clear there will be consequences if it continues. Follow through if it happens again. The boundary is meaningless if you don't enforce it. Test 3. Emotional withdrawal. After you set boundaries. When you establish a boundary or tell her no, she becomes cold, distant, or stops communicating. She's testing whether you'll cave and abandon boundaries to restore her warmth, or whether you'll maintain boundaries despite emotional pressure. Caving teaches her that withdrawal controls you. Maintaining boundaries teaches her that manipulation doesn't work. Watch whether the withdrawal ends when you hold firm or whether it intensifies. If she returns to normal when you maintain boundaries, the withdrawal was test you passed. If she escalates dramatically, she's committed to breaking your boundaries through emotional punishment. The correct response is maintaining boundaries, regardless of her emotional state. Don't reward withdrawal by abandoning reasonable boundaries. Continue being respectful but firm. If she can't handle reasonable boundaries without emotional manipulation, that's information about whether she's capable of healthy relationship. Test 4. Comparing you to other men. She mentions things other men do for their partners, compares you unfavorably to exes, or suggests friends' boyfriends treat them better. She's testing whether you'll feel inadequate and work harder to measure up, or whether you'll recognize the manipulation and refuse to play comparison games. Notice whether these comparisons have specific agenda, usually getting you to do more, spend more, or change to meet standards she's setting through comparison. This reveals the comparison is manipulation tool, not honest observation. The correct response is refusing to engage with comparisons. Make clear you're not competing with other men and won't be manipulated through unfavorable comparisons. If she's unhappy with you, she can communicate directly about specific issues. If other men are so superior, she's free to pursue them. This confidence stops the test immediately. Test 5, creating drama, then blaming you. She creates conflict, emotional chaos, or problems, then frames you as the cause, or suggests you're overreacting to reasonable behavior. She's testing whether you'll accept blame for problems you didn't create, or whether you'll hold her accountable for her behavior. Pay attention to patterns where drama consistently follows her actions, but you end up apologizing. This reveals successful manipulation, where she's avoided accountability by making you responsible for her behavior. The correct response is refusing to accept false blame. Calmly identify what actually happened, who did what, and maintain reality even when she's trying to rewrite it. Don't apologize for things you didn't do. If she can't take accountability, that's fundamental character issue. Test 6, last-minute changes and flakiness. She frequently cancels plans, shows up late, or changes arrangements at the last minute with minimal consideration for your time. She's testing whether you'll tolerate disrespect of your time or whether you'll enforce consequences for unreliability. Watch whether the flakiness is consistent or whether it improves after you address it. Consistent flakiness despite feedback means she's decided your time isn't valuable enough to respect. The correct response is having standards about reliability and enforcing them. If she's chronically late or frequently cancels, stop making her a priority. Reduce your investment to match her level of respect for your time. Your time is valuable. Treat it that way. Test 7. Pushing physical boundaries. She tests physical boundaries. Hitting playfully, pushing, or being physically aggressive in ways framed as joking. She's testing whether you'll tolerate physical disrespect or set firm boundaries about it. Notice whether she stops when you express discomfort or continues while claiming you're overreacting. Continuation. Despite your stated boundaries is serious red flag about respect and control. The correct response is zero tolerance. Physical boundaries are non-negotiable. Make immediately clear that any physical aggression, even if framed as playful, is unacceptable. If it continues after clear boundary, that's relationship-ending behavior. These 7 tests measure how much you'll tolerate. Pass them by maintaining boundaries, refusing to accept unacceptable behavior, and being willing to walk away if necessary. Women respect men who have standards and enforce them. Fail these tests by caving to pressure, accepting disrespect, or abandoning boundaries, and you'll face escalating mistreatment. If this opened your eyes, smash that like button, subscribe for more insights, and comment sharing which test you recognize. Your awareness might help another man maintain his standards.